whether I have a couple strikeouts early in the game, but I'm up in a big situation later in the game. I'm not too emotional about those two strikeouts, or the other way around. Maybe I have a couple hits. I don't get too high either. I kind of try to stay in that moment and slow everything down as best I can. And it doesn't work every time, but I think that's what's helped for me.
Can we all collectively just give our producer and editor, Tommy Gold, an attaboy? How about a whisper attaboy on 3? 1, 2, 3. Attaboy.
Tommy Gold.
You see us, you see this face, Coach Paul Game and Coach Chad Chop, you hear our voices, but the guy behind it all, like really making the sausage, putting the butter on the pan, turning on the stove, getting the plates and forks out. It's Tommy Gold, man.
Tommy Gold.
How'd you find that guy, Coach Chad Chop?
Like manna from heaven. Tommy Gold showed up in Arizona, and it's really been beautiful ever since. Great young man, works hard, very smart, very creative. Still in school right now. On Deck Productions. He's gold. Tommy Gold.
He teaches us how to grind. How are you, buddy? You look fresh. You look good.
God, I feel good. I had a fresh cup of coffee this morning from Pineapple Labs. It's Hunter Pence and his beautiful wife, Alexis Pence. That's their company. And it's unbelievable. So I had a great cup of coffee. Good to go. Feel great. Ready to
what's your coffee intake these days? Is it a big guy or small?
I just do a normal cup. I just do 1 cup of coffee and hope for the best. Hope I don't need more. It just depends on the 4 babies running around if I need more. But usually 1 cup's fine.
Well done. I think the older we get, the less we need to intake. For me, that goes for alcohol and caffeine. I just got jittery in my late 30s and like, ugh. So I'm down to 1 solid cup around 5 a.m. That's what I'm up to.
Less coffee, more power naps. It's kind of our slogan.
I like that. Old man power naps. Well,
need it.
We got a great guest today. You got another great get. What's his name, Coach Chad Chop?
Man, this young man, Brandon Crawford. Holy smokes! I knew he had some awards, but when I did the research, my goodness, it's a laundry list of awards. And more importantly, we say it all the time: high character, great man. Very proud to call him a friend, and just can't wait to talk to him. He's awesome.
Awesome. Anything you throw out there now that he would be too embarrassed to hear live?
I mean, it's just, he's such a high character guy, and he doesn't really like to hear about himself. So anything, I might throw out his accolades now, so we don't have to do it in front of him, but 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove, 2-time Wilson Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time World Series champ, 2-time gold medal winner representing the United States of America. Heard of him. They're great. He was fourth in NL MVP this year in 2021. He won the Willie Mack Award in 2016, along with Javier Lopez, who we had on the show.
Had them both. Yeah. I have a trivia question for you. He won 3 Gold Gloves in a row. Who's the last shortstop to do that?
Ozzie Smith.
Everybody thinks it's Ozzie or maybe Barry Larkin.
Or Barry Larkin.
J-Ro. Jimmy Rollins had 3 in a row, man. Another high character guy. That 6th tool, that having that character, that's really what we're looking for here on the Talkin' Shop podcast. And we've just had great guest after great guest, and they're just a fun interview. It's tough to be so good at baseball, be so great to your community, and be a great interview, but everybody's been so great and different. Like Brandon Bell, he was hilarious, and Nick Hundley got us off right. Javier Lopez, just nonstop. Today we drop Mookie Betts, so by now you've listened to that one, you've listened to Dave Roberts, but we'll just keep them coming, folks. That's what we do here at the Talkin' Shop podcast. But I'm in good form. Nothing to really catch up on my way as far as baseball goes, except This is Buddy the Elf week at my Sandlot.
Oh,
yes. It's
awesome.
it's the week. We have Christmas and New Year's break coming up, 2 weeks off. So that week leading into the big break, Coach Ballgame puts on the Buddy the Elf costume and just explores the space. Gets weird, and the kids love it.
Can you name the 4 major food groups that Buddy the Elf would claim?
See, there you go. I don't know it at all. I don't recall, but I would think it'd be maple syrup,
yes,
cereal,
no,
spaghetti,
no,
and how about more maple syrup?
Candy canes, candy corn, and syrup. So candy corn's the hard one. Candy corn's the one that most folks tend to forget.
Can I write that one down? Care if I write that down? Probably need to know that.
Candy canes, candy corn, and syrup. Yeah, love Buddy the Elf. So good.
Well, before our epic guest comes on, you tell me about your weekend with coaching and catch me up to speed.
Yeah, man, we had a tournament this past weekend, and fortunate enough to get to advance to they call it Championship Day on Sundays. And the parents, our opposing parents, they were riled up. They were really into it, and for all the wrong reasons. And I was really proud of our parents, just how calm that they remained. And multiple parents told me, like, hey, listening to you and Coach Ballgame's podcast, like they get it. Right. So they're not matching that intensity and that kind of just ridiculous energy from the other side. And I was so proud of my side. And I have to admit, I actually had a moment where I made a mistake on Saturday. Yeah. Oh yeah. The tournament director comes up to me and he's like, hey, where's your roster? Right. And thank God, Mrs. Chad, the dad, Debbie, she does all of my GM stuff because I can't stand that side of, just club baseball. And so I told the guy, hey, I actually don't do that. My wife does it. She'll get her when she can get her. And the guy kind of gave me some attitude, and I lost my cool a little bit, and I had to make it right. So at the end of the day, I went up to the tournament director and apologized profusely and asked him what his favorite beverage was. And it was Coke Zero. So the next morning, on Sunday morning, I brought him an igloo full of Coke Zero on ice, and now we're going to be best of friends. So that's what you do. You just admit that you made a mistake, and you make it right.
I love that, man, because we're not robotic. And as much as we try and share the good news of positivity to all of our listeners, man, we're going to lose our cool once a day, at least. Yeah. Being parents of kids and coaching all these different personalities, and then running into a situation that I would think it's not a big deal, but somebody thought it was a big deal and hit you the wrong way. So good on you for owning up, man. Yeah. And I think Javier Lopez talked about it as far as the kids watch what you do, and you got to try and stay cool. But Dave Roberts, he was man enough to own up when he makes a wrong call. He says, hey, that one's on me. This is why I did it. And I'm not perfect. So all these juggernauts coming on, really inspiring me to tell my daughter, hey, I'm sorry. I overreacted in that moment, because it happens all the time, man. So, hey, good on you, and good on your team for watching the podcast, listening, and turning that volume down a little bit because of what they're hearing. Attaboy.
Yeah, it's been, I'm so proud of our parents. They're doing it right, and early on, and me included, like early on, we all had to kind of, make adjustments, and really put our focus on where it belongs. And man, it's great. It's great for the kids. It's great for the parents. As a coach, you're just so proud of them. And man, these kids are working their tails off, and it's fun to watch. It's cool. We got to play against a former teammate who was on an opposing team, and he did unbelievable. So it was really cool to see him, and he's going to play with us in our next tournament. He's just working his tail off, and it's so fun to see these kids improve. Without further ado, it looks like our guest has arrived. So Mr. Crawford, I've already talked about all of your accolades. It filled up my whiteboard. but we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
You by far have the best looking background. I mean, it's just strong. I'm just looking at so much beautiful. Go to the YouTube to see what I'm seeing, folks. But nice to meet you. It is. It looks like an art shop. It's beautiful. My name's James, but everybody calls me Coach Ballgame. Brandon, thanks for being on. I'll throw the first question your way, and it's a question I ask every kid I ever coach. And I know you coach kids. You're passionate about the next generation, but what's your nickname, and how'd you get it?
I mean, B-Craw is a pretty standard one. It's pretty self-explanatory. I grew up with a couple coaches calling me Crawdad or Crawdaddy, something like that. Some version of that. And then a few years back, I was actually given a pretty good nickname that I've worn on the back of my my Players Weekend jersey by your fellow host, Chad Chap, DJ BC Raw.
That's a good nickname. That's a good nickname.
That is strong.
And that one came from being the Clubhouse DJ, and then just a little play off of the B-Craw.
I love it. Good, Chopper. Throw it to you, man.
Yeah, well, I have an order of how I was going to ask questions, but since we touched on DJ BC Raw, great nickname, I'm going to kick this off with, as the Clubhouse DJ and my favorite DJ, who are your top 5 favorite artists?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Just because sometimes it depends on the mood, I feel like, or I could go top 5 of each genre. But my favorite is The Weeknd. He's been my favorite for a while. But man, then we could go all sorts of different directions. I guess just thinking about people that I play, in the car driving home or something like that, that I can probably listen to at all times and just kind of throw their collection on shuffle and not skip too many songs. I mean, The Weeknd for sure, and then Post Malone, probably Tupac, if we're going all time.
Taking it old school.
Then I'll go a different direction, go Morgan Wallen, and Luke Combs.
That's 5. Wow, that's a well-rounded 5. Coach Ballgame, what do you got?
And it's all over the place, man.
I could go even further too.
I love it.
I could go with Halsey, Elenium, the Chainsmokers, guys like that also. So
yeah,
I'm all over the place.
I could talk music all day. I've played drums my whole life, and I've tried to learn guitar, and now I've brought it into my coaching because kids remember songs and they feed off of it. They love music. So let's go a big win. What's a genre you're going? What's a couple songs you're going after a huge win?
We have the same win playlist. I created. I used to have help on this creation of this win mix before somebody left for another team.
Hooks and hoops.
We have the same mix. That's right, hooks and hoops. We have the same mix after every win, and it's typically rap, like kind of like pumped up, kind of like a party mix, just because everyone's excited coming in the clubhouse after a win.
Love it. Well, for me, it's so fun watching you play the game because, and I don't know if you loved multiple sports growing up, but it definitely looks by the way you field a ground ball and the way you move. You played soccer and football and basketball. It just seems seamless, the way you can field a ground ball. Was baseball your favorite sport? Was it your first love, or did you have other loves early on?
Yeah, no, it was definitely my first love. And I think even in kindergarten, I think I said I wanted to be a professional baseball player when I grew up. So it was definitely always my favorite sport. But I played soccer till I was 12. I played basketball up till my freshman year of high school. Played football when I finished playing soccer up to my senior year. And football was probably my close second in high school. It was my second favorite. I loved playing football. The Friday night lights and all that were a lot of fun. But yeah, no, I mean, I grew up with a big baseball fan. My dad was a big baseball fan, so he definitely taught me to love the baseball right away.
Awesome. Chapper.
So yeah, not a lot of people, well, some people know this. There's been stories written about it, but Brandon grew up like a huge fan of the Giants and wanted to be the shortstop for the San Francisco Giants. So it's always great to ask him, and I guess I'll ask you right now that question. Anytime we do our Brandon Crawford baseball camp, and I ask him that because all these kids want to do and have these dreams, but Brandon is living that dream. I looked it up. He's played the most games at shortstop in San Francisco history, and that's what you wanted to be at a very young age. How are you able to realize that dream, Brandon? I guess what steps did it take?
A lot of hard work and commitment. I mean, those are probably the two biggest things off the top of my head. Obviously, a love for the game is how it started. And then, you know, growing up and continuing to play and still love the sport. And then just putting in the extra work, the extra practice as I got older, because I knew, and my dad told me that all these other kids are going to be getting better. And, you know, you want to be able to continue to stay on top. You have to put in the extra work. So, you know, even, you know, through high school, I would take my Friday nights and go to a batting cage and take hitting lessons while my friends were, you know, going to each other's houses or whatever kids do on Friday nights. And then just, you know, hitting in the backyard or taking extra ground balls with my dad, probably when it wasn't even safe, you know, how dark it was outside trying to take ground balls. But just putting in all that hard work, and then, you know, even into college and minor league ball, kind of not necessarily taking ground balls with my dad, but putting in the extra work to try to continue to be better.
And the main thing that I take from that, the hard work's obvious, but is that you talk about the love for the game. And so in this podcast, our goal, talking to youth coaches and kids and parents, is that make sure your kid loves it and is having fun. And that's the main goal when you're young, is you have to have that love and passion for the game, because as it gets harder, as you get older, that love can kind of get you through it. I love that. Coach Ballgame.
Well, yeah, that intrigues me big time. And we're trying to just give resources to these youth coaches of how to make it fun and how to garner that love for the game that sounds like your dad fueled in you. Was there anybody other than your dad at a young age that they were the fun coach, or they were the coach you wanted to win a game for? Who inspired you early on?
I mean, I think the love for the game and having fun with it, just, I mean, as far as I can remember, I think that came from my dad. I think there were definitely a lot of coaches along the way that that kind of shaped me in different ways. I can't even, there are so many throughout my, you know, playing career that it's hard to pick out one. I know there was definitely one in college. Our infield coach definitely helped me with infield and footwork and stuff like that. And I loved taking ground balls, you know, during that time in college. I mean, I did before, but for some reason it like kicked another level in me, I guess, to, you know, a love of defense. But then there are just so many along the way, whether it was, you know, whether it was kind of the hard-nosed coach that, you know, kept you honest, or, you know, the guy that told me I was too small to play shortstop and I was at second base for a few years, and kind of helped garner that drive to, you know, to continue to get better and, you know, be a shortstop, because I knew that's where I wanted to be. So, I mean, there are just a lot of guys along the way that shaped, you know, who I am as a player now.
We just interviewed Mookie, and he talked about this. Mookie Betts, like moments he had playing high school basketball that really put a chip on his shoulder or made him more gritty, or moments he had on the football field, where there was a certain coach that, there's totally different ways of shaping a certain kid, but the common thread seems to be this character, like that at whatever field you're on, wherever you're playing a different sport, it's kind of necessary to have those different moments, because it builds character in different ways. If I was just playing baseball my whole life, I wouldn't have gotten the grit on a football field, or even like getting almost hot and to the point of anger on a basketball court, like just Wojo defense kind of slapped the floor. Like that helped me when I got, more into competitive baseball. So love that. I'll throw one more at you, then we'll send it back to Chopper. But yeah,
one of
you
the
got
coaches
something.
I was talking about was actually a football coach. So, I mean, you definitely get it from all sports for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And now that I coach kids, I hear my football coach's voice in me all the time, as well as the baseball coach that maybe was a little too negative. And I even hear that sometimes when I'm making mistakes, and I'm like, whoa, put on the brakes here. And so, yeah, it all leads to the greater good.
Yeah.
You talked about ground balls, and you just had a love for fielding ground balls, and it obviously shows watching you play the game. But what's your advice to that young infielder out there? I know kids should play multiple positions to become a great athlete, but once they hone in on being a shortstop or being a second baseman, what do you tell a child?
I've always said I think footwork's the most important thing, because you could have great hands and terrible feet, and the balls, you're going to end up getting bad hops, and you'll make bad throws because your feet aren't set the right way. And you can take a guy with not very good hands or below average hands, but if you give them really good footwork, they're going to find a good hop every time, and they're going to make the play. I think that's been the biggest key for me over the years, and that's staying at shortstop for my entire career. I mean, I'm not young anymore, so continuing that footwork and keeping at that, I think is probably the most important thing.
Good stuff. Footwork, kids. Footwork. Chopper.
Yeah, I wrote that down. And one thing about Craw that I saw firsthand was, I mean, he may not hit on the field every day, but he took ground balls every single day. And that was something that was like non-negotiable, even on a day game. If he was in that lineup, he was going to get some ground balls. He just takes so much pride in it. And it's one of those things where greatness doesn't happen by accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You work on your footwork, and then you can be really great for a really long time. Question I have for you: what do you like most about baseball?
I feel like I've gotten this question at our camps before.
I think you might have.
I think just the competition. I mean, it's so much different than other sports. I don't know if this is necessarily my favorite part, because it's so frustrating at times also, but maybe that's what makes it more fun when you actually succeed, is you fail so much in baseball as a hitter. As I'm talking about a hitter, you win a lot as pitchers. But as a hitter, this game is so hard and you fail most of the time. But I think that's also what makes it great, is, when you do succeed, it feels a lot better. The best in our game failed 7 out of 10 times. So I just think that competition, and then along with that just is the overall teamwork of baseball. If everybody has to work together in baseball, it's not like some other sports where an individual can kind of carry a team. You need at least a handful of guys to work together to be able to win.
So you touched on hitting, and you made some swing changes over these last couple of years, and got to be so rewarding to you. I mean, 4th in the NL MVP this year. I mean, just unbelievable. And I was on the other side, watching it, and it was really impressive to see. Can you give us anything for the kids out there? Just one little tiny little nugget of it's kind of what helped you. And I know a ton went into it. So any simple thing, if there is one, from what you did, because man, it's impressive.
Trying to think of the biggest key. I think I'm trying to think of how simple it really is, but I think the biggest thing for me was this year was cleaning up my bat path. I was really around the ball, hitting a lot of ground balls to first and second in 2019. And then so when we got our new hitting coaches, we really started like grinding away at that bat path and trying to keep it more like inside the ball, up the middle. And really not even up the middle, more just inside the ball. I mean, we were working on pulling the ball all the time. It was just more pulling it the right way instead of kind of rotationally where like my shoulders are going towards right field. It was more, back at the pitcher. It was more of like a little dip and back at the pitcher. And it kept my bat path, on plane a lot longer. So I was able to make more and better contact on all pitches, whether it's fastball or off speed. So just kind of staying in that zone a little bit longer. I don't know how simple that would really be for kids, but I mean, that was the biggest change for me.
Yeah, we talk to kids about hitting, and it's the longer your barrel can stay in the zone, the bigger margin for error you have, right? Especially as you get older and the pitcher's trying to mess with your timing. So a ton goes into that, but as coaches, if we can kind of get our kids' barrels in the zone longer, they're going to hit the ball harder, more consistently, have more confidence. It'll be more fun, and they'll fail a little bit less. Coach Ballgame.
You crushed it at UCLA. You worked your way up the minors, and then right out of the gates, when you hit the show, you're on the biggest stage, playing in a World Series. And me growing up a Cubs fan and seeing you on the biggest stage, sometimes up against my Cubbies, you always make me nervous in the box. You always seem very calm and like in control. I guess it's a two-parter. Is that what you're feeling inside? Or is it slow heartbeat and you're good with failure in the big moment, and that's what keeps you relaxed? And then as you get older, do those nerves go away?
I don't know if they ever necessarily go away. It depends on how you're doing lately, honestly. Sometimes for me, if you've been struggling lately, that heartbeat might be going a little bit faster. But if you've got a couple hits and you're feeling good, you feel pretty confident in the box, and you kind of slow everything down. But I feel like I've always done a pretty good job of kind of staying pretty even keel. I don't get too emotional one way or the other. So I think that's what's helped me. Whether I have a couple strikeouts early in the game, but I'm up in a big situation later in the game. I'm not too emotional about those two strikeouts, or the other way around. Maybe I have a couple hits. I don't get too high either. I kind of try to stay in that moment and slow everything down as best I can. And it doesn't work every time, but I think that's what's helped for me.
And this is something we try to educate our sports parents on. Chopper just played in a tournament this past weekend where it was not even keeled on the other side of the playing field. The bleachers were anxious and loud. And, you look in a major league dugout after a guy strikes out a couple times, they're just chewing a bunch of gum and they're spitting a bunch of seeds. And it's like, turn the page and maybe speak to that a little bit. What do you say to that parent that just maybe hasn't been there, done that, and their kid's in a big moment? But what do you say to that parent?
I mean, I've always kind of thought that, especially in the big leagues, but I mean, it applies for kids also. This season has so many ups and downs. It's such a roller coaster of emotions. And like we touched on earlier, it's a game built for you to fail a lot as a hitter. So, you can't think too much about that negativity and about the times that you failed. or really the times you succeeded, because you never know what's going to happen. You just have to kind of try to stay with that even keel, and as parents, you try to help your kid keep that same mentality. You can't get too high or low for them either. If you're going to miss one way or the other, I guess it would be high. You get excited for them and pump them up, and keep their confidence up, because I think that's you asked about if the nerves go away as you get older. I think you get more confident because you've had more experience probably in those big situations. So if you can keep a kid's confidence high, I think they're gonna succeed more often than not.
Love it. Chopper, what do you got coming out of that handsome mug of yours?
Yeah, the term that I like to use with youth is that greatness lies in the moment, right? So like if you fail, or even if you have success, like take a deep breath and try to win the moment, And I think sometimes we get caught up even in an at bat where you miss your pitch, and then you just that it's over because you're not able to breathe, slow your heart rate down, and get right back into the moment. That's great advice. I love that. I love that, Crow. I am asking you about your teammate, Mount Rushmore. Who is on your teammate, Mount Rushmore? That we did the research. That's 4 faces. 4 faces.
I went there. I saw it in person. It's 4.
Are we talking like skill level, or just
no? Here it's more about character, and I mean, you can go skill if you want, but this is more like guys you want to be around.
I have to pick 4 of them.
I mean, or 10, whatever you want to do. They could.
This would be a big mountain.
That'd be a huge mountain.
I've played for a long time, so
yeah.
It's hard to whittle it down. I'll go with Buster. Off the top. Played with him for a long time, and if we're talking about character, it's a pretty good one. And skill level, I guess, also. So he applied for any Mount Rushmore we're talking about.
All Mount Rushmores.
Man, after that we could go a lot of different directions. I mean, Belt, kind of same thing applies. Brandon Belt, kind of the same thing applies with him and Buster. Played with them for a long time, played with them in the minor leagues for a little bit. And we've just, become great friends. So I'll have to throw him on there also. But then, I mean, I could go with Yaz, I could go with Longo. If we're going back a little ways, I could go with like Tim Lincecum, Manny Burris. Manny Burris was one of the guys that kind of helped me when I came up to the big leagues, whether it was, tips in the clubhouse or, what the coaches are expecting out of me, stuff like that. He was probably one of my biggest player mentors when I first got called up. Then we could Joe Panic, played with him up the middle for 4 or 5 years. So just great friend, great teammate. I mean, Chopper, most of these guys that I played with, and all
quality,
how good
quality
they are
humans,
as people and baseball players. So, but I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll stop there.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Great mustaches, great hair, great beard, great pizzazz down that list.
Yeah,
that's right. I just want to look at those people.
Yeah, Tim Lincecum, man, you talk about a guy who treated everyone amazingly. Timmy would design shoes for clubhouse staff and support staff, and I showed up one time my first year, and he's like, "Hey, Chopper, I got a glove for you. It's in your locker." I mean, just Tim Lincecum, unbelievable guy that everybody that knows him really pulled for him and love him, and what he did on the field. But Timmy Lincecum, man, that guy's he's just a special man.
And you would never know how good of a pitcher he was,
right,
based on just, how he was off of the field. He was just kind of a goofball, treated everyone, nice, like Chopper was saying. And you would just never think that he's one of the best pitchers in the game. just by, how nice he was and thought about everybody.
Yeah, great. Coach Ballgame, what do you got?
You played with and against a lot of characters. Who's the funniest guy in baseball right now? If you had to, okay, this guy's going to MC my event. He's just hilarious. I'll give you two if you need two, but who makes you laugh?
And I'm out of baseball now, so you can't go with that.
I'll go with just players, I guess, for now. Oh man. I think Freddie Freeman and Anthony Rizzo are, all their interactions always seem to be pretty funny. Freddie has made me laugh multiple times at first base. So I mean, they're probably two of the funnier ones I could think off the top of my head. Choppy, I mean, Kike probably a little bit better than you. But he definitely seems like a character. I know him a little bit just from playing against him, but
hilarious.
But yeah, he's definitely a character.
Another thing I think about
Jock Peterson, somebody I've gotten to know a little bit. I would never let him MC an event for me, but it's pretty funny.
Jock is great. Well,
his nickname's Bozo, so
Bozo.
Yeah.
We're just writing that one down. Jock Peterson, nickname Bozo.
Yeah.
That I mean, that's the beauty of baseball, and there is a lot of cork balls out there. And watching that video of Rizzo chasing Freeman in the pickle, and just Frederick calling his name, like I love watching that kind of stuff. What do you guys talk about? I see you chatting it up with guys that steal second or on second base. What really goes on in those conversations? What are you guys talking about when there's a timeout or you guys are chatting it up?
I mean, it depends on how well you know the person typically. A lot of the times it's just, small talk, whether it's about the game or, how they've been doing this season or, stuff like that. Or, where the next city they're headed to, it's small talk like that. But if you know the guy a little bit better, you ask about family, make fun of them, like I would if Jock was at second. All sorts of different things.
Just to keep it light, right? Kids, keep it light.
Typically not about the game.
Yeah.
Or what's going on in the game that day.
It's good. Oh man, Chopper, what do you got for me?
You can see Crow's not wearing his pearl necklace right now. So if Jock's out there listening, there's no pearl necklace on currently. I saw Crow during the playoffs, this high leverage Giants-Dodgers playoffs. Trey Turner hit a double and Crow picked up some dirt and just chucked it at him, just tossed a little dirt clod at him. That's just out of mutual respect. Trey Turner's pretty special player as well.
And that eases a fan's mind too. It's like, man, I'm a little nervous now watching this game, but they're just out there throwing dirt at each other. It kind of calms the fan down a little bit, and they can say, you know what, this isn't the end of the world. This is baseball, even though it's a very big moment where every family member is hanging on every inch of the game. So I love that aspect of it.
I like to refer to Cross sometimes as Neo from the Matrix, just from the way he's able to slow stuff down. I think I've told this story, but I'm going to tell it again. Spring training, 2015, maybe. Matt Duffy's playing third, Cross at short. Ground ball in the 6 hole, I think a one-hop shot. The dirt's still a little wet and muddy. So Crow goes down, braces himself, fields a backhand. He's got mud on his hand, so he cannot go straight to his glove. Well, most mere mortals would, but Crow's Neo. And then this is the Matrix. It's how slow the game is for him. He flips the ball in the air, wipes the mud off his hand, with his pant leg, grabs the ball, throws the guy out. And as excited as everyone was, Matt Duffy was like a kid on Christmas. He's like, "Did you guys see that? He threw the ball up in there." I'm like, "Yeah, we saw it, dude. He's Neo." That's how slow the game is for Brandon Crawford, folks. Unbelievable.
You made it sound way cooler than it was, I feel like.
I mean, it was pretty cool. I was there. Question I have for you. And this will actually be my last question. Thank you so much for being here. What is your favorite thing about being a dad? You can name a few things. He's got 4 beautiful babies. They're awesome.
which is nuts. 2 more than me. Like, I feel like my bag is so full with 2. And like both of you guys have 4. Like, that's nuts.
I mean, I don't know how you felt, but I feel like 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4 weren't even that big of a change. 1 to 2
zone defense. Well, zone defense.
0 to 1, biggest difference. Then 1 to 2, and then after that, it's like it's all the same. We've done this before.
It's easy.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I think relating it to baseball a little bit is I get home and they don't care if I went, 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts or 5 for 5 with 4 homers. They don't care at all. They're just happy that dad's home and, walking in the door and them running up and giving me a hug. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Even more so probably after a bad game. But I mean, that applies for anything, whether I'm coming home from baseball or, practicing and weightlifting in the, on the off season or whatever, getting home and just seeing their face and, having them run up to you and be happy and excited that you're home. That's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I like to say when it comes to babies, they make a bad day okay and a good day great. Is when you get to see their smile and that unconditional love that they have for you. And it's cool when you have kids because it all of a sudden it's less about you, right? And it's more about just loving your babies and trying to be a good example. For me, with you, Brandon, just so our listeners know, I'm just proud of who you are as a man. Your high level of character, you're a great father, you're a great husband. You're just all around quality. And we really appreciate you coming on today and just thank you for who you are and the role model that you are to all of us and all the kids out there. We really appreciate it. Coach Ballgame?
I just second that. That's that's amazing. Attaboy to you. And, seeing what you do with your camps with the kids and the dad of 4 that you are, man, it makes me want to respect you even more. So thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
You're the best. Have a great day.
All right.
See ya.
You guys too.
Attaboy. Hey, Chopper, trivia for you. He was the first MLB. He was the first. No, let me go back.
Take two.
His first major league hit was a grand slam.
Yeah, you want me to answer that?
Who's the only other Giant to hit a grand slam in their first game?
Oh, I mean, I knew the answer to the first question. Oh, I was going to say Brandon Crawford. All right. Is it recent?
The only other Giant. It's not recent. The name. It's not Willie Mays. You're in the ballpark. God, the name is slightly more recent than the actual person. That's your one vague hint.
Man, that's tough. The name is slightly more recent. Yeah, I got nothing. Madison Bumgarner.
Bobby, that'd be great. Bobby Bonds. Bobby
Bonds. Barry's dad.
Yeah. Grand Slam first game. Brandon Crawford set a single game Giants record with 7 hits in 2016.
Miami. Yeah, he did. I was there.
He's won the Heart and Hustle Award. Like you said, 2021, he became the franchise leader in games played at shortstop.
Amazing.
Super strong.
That's amazing.
Well, I had some trivia lined up for last week with Adam Kennedy, but we kind of ran out of time. You got time for a little bit of trivia?
I got time, and Tommy Gold said we got time, so we got time.
Oh, snap. That's lit.
Yeah, that's lit. Hit me with some trivia.
Just to put a button on B. Craw, man. What a handsome, just kind individual. What do you got to button that up?
I mean, I can't say enough about who he is as a man. And that's the thing is everybody that we're trying to bring on, we want to make sure that the folks know just how much character they have, that y'all can see what they do on the field. But that's our goal here too, is we want to change the culture of youth sports, but also shed a positive light on some great things in baseball. And Brandon Crawford, man, I can't say enough about his character and who he is.
I love the peek behind the curtain that he gave us, just with, nerves and different ways of kind of keeping it even keeled in the middle of games, and then the behind the scenes of the kind of music they listen to after a win. And when I think of the Giants, I think of trendsetters, I think of swag, I think of just like different unique personalities, and he's been there through the thick of it. One name we've heard a lot of on the Mount Rushmore is Buster Posey. That guy, he must be top notch.
Yeah. The thing about that the Giants do a really good job, and the Dodgers do a really good job of this too, is they let guys be who they are, and they don't try to put them into a box, and I'm talking about when they get to the big leagues, they really just let you be who you are. Tim Lincecum's a great example. Timmy was his own deal, but he was able to thrive because they wanted you to be who you are. And it's about culture, and they set a good culture, and the success shows. Yeah, looking behind the scenes, it's really culture. So as coaches, it's really important. What culture do you set? So even with our youth sports, like what culture do you set? And a good quote I heard, I believe from Nick Saban or another top-notch coach, I think it might've been coach from Vanderbilt, but he said, your culture is defined by what you tolerate, right? So now, wait a second. As a youth coach, are you going to let your parents scream and shout and do all this stuff and argue and complain? Be careful what you tolerate, because now you got this next generation of youth that's coming up. And if you're tolerating that nonsense, we're just spreading that to the next generation. We got to stop that.
That's great. That's great. That it's the culture is what you tolerate. That's beautiful. Sweet music from Brandon Crawford. Love that big time.
Big time.
Let's just go down the list, and let's go throw it back to Adam Kennedy last week. Who did he get his first hit off of? It was a 3-run double off one of the
National League.
League. Yeah. And this pitcher was playing for a different team than what he's most known for, but he's very well known for a World Series championship in the Los Angeles area.
Okay. Was it in the NL Central, an NL Central team?
No, this was an NL East team. I'll give you the year, 1999. Adam Kennedy hit his first hit off this guy, who was in the autumn of his career, because he had won a big World Series with a Los Angeles team earlier in his career.
Yeah. I got nothing. I should know it. It's someone from the Dodgers in '88.
Yep.
Yeah. Oral Hershiser.
Correct.
Let's go.
Oral Hershiser with the Mets in 1999. Adam Kennedy hit a 3-run double off of him. How about that?
I feel like I just got my first big league hit by getting that right.
How
Deductive
about that?
reasoning, kids.
One more Adam Kennedy for you. He hit 3 bombs in the LCS, which we talked about. 9 guys have hit 3 dingers in a postseason game. Who's the last to do it? 3 bombs in a postseason game.
Man, AL or NL?
NL. This
Albert
game
Pujols.
involves both of us. It is not. Good guess. I believe he's on that list, but he wasn't the last to do it. His name came up in this podcast.
God, Evan Longoria? No, not Evan Longoria. God, his name came up in this podcast today.
And he broke my heart in 2017. That's your final hint.
You can't give me any more hints.
He
2017.
broke my heart in
National
2017.
League, they beat the Cubs. Man, 2017 was a tough postseason. I don't think I watched a lot of 2017. Yeah, I don't know. What do you got?
Yeah. Kike.
Come on.
Wrigley.
Kike
hit 3 bombs at Wrigley to close out the Cubbies.
Yeah. That's as good as the mustache that Kike sports time to time.
The Conquistador.
Oh, the Conquistador.
I call his mustache the Conquistador.
As you should.
And that took me down a nice little train of college records. Consecutive hit streak. Some guy at Oklahoma State, 58 game hitting streak. Here's your hint. A bird.
A bird. I feel like we're playing $25,000 pyramid. A bird.
Yeah.
Robin Ventura.
Correct. Well done.
Let's go.
58 game hitting streak. Any idea what pitcher for Stanford ended the streak in the College World Series? What Stanford pitcher shut him down?
Yeah, righty. Not a righty. It's a lefty.
Yes. No, it's a righty. I was nodding no, but thinking yes.
Yeah, it's a righty who, I mean, probably should be in the Hall of Fame, probably, but I can't think of his name. But I can see him. Mike Mussina.
Good guess. Your hint is goatee. Mussina did go to Stanford, but it wasn't Mussina. It wasn't the Moose.
It was not.
It was the goateed wonder.
Yeah.
Blackjack McDowell.
Blackjack McDowell.
Stanford.
He sported multiple facial hair, facial goatees. He's had a mustache, Fu Manchu, like you and I rocked a few weeks ago. At least I did.
Absolutely.
Yours is even better.
Oh gosh, I loved
Top
it. Now we look so clean and young, shaven, but that was Wyatt Earp. What Clemson guy in 1995? No, not 1995. The number of doubles, career doubles with 95. Played for Clemson. Shortstop. Really
Khalil Green.
Me of B. Craw. Yeah.
Khalil Green.
Yeah. What a gamer. Career doubles in college with 95. He had the white shoes and the mullet.
I was so excited to answer that. I should have just let you keep going and build the drama. But Khalil Green, man, when he was coming up, that was like a can't miss. I believe he played with the Padres amongst other clubs. But
he did.
Khalil Green, man, what a stud.
Unreal. A lot of B. Craw on him, the way he played the game of shortstop.
Had some swag.
Career dingers in college. Also Oklahoma State University with an even 100 dingers. Most in college baseball history.
I'm really enjoying this. I need a clue.
Strong build to portly.
Pete Incaviglia.
Yes.
No. Is it really?
It is.
No.
Strong to portly build. Pete Incaviglia, also
That's
most
amazing.
RBIs in college baseball. Well done, dude.
Wow.
This gets me thinking when I saw this stat: runs allowed in a game by a pitcher. In 1997, Howard versus Kansas. Michael Castile. You want to guess how many runs he gave up in a game? Most all time.
22.
24.
Wow.
Super close.
Not bad. I went Price is Right. I couldn't go over, so that was closest without going over. I feel like
no, you
Bob
win.
Barker.
Bob Barker, you win. What?
Yeah.
At what point does the coach go, "Yep, I think I'm gonna pull him"?
I just feel like that was probably a situation where they were out of pitchers and is a hang with them. Hey, don't throw hard. Keep the ball down if possible and try to keep them under 30 runs.
My gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Most hits in a game. A guy named John McBroom did it in 1967 for Air Force.
Yeah.
How many?
Man, I played at Air Force, and let me tell you, I had a teammate that had never hit a home run, and we went to Air Force when I was at San Diego State. He hit 4 home runs in one game. So first home run, he sprints around the bases because he'd never hit a home run, even in Little League, any level. Second home run, a little bit smoother. Third home run, he had a little hop and a skip. By the fourth home run, he was popping his chain, pointing to the crowd. Yeah, Air Force. So this is going to be a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Did this only go 9 innings, this game? Can I ask that?
You can, and that is one thing I didn't write down. I will say this guy, John McBroom, he hit for the cycle.
Yeah,
he had 12 ribbies, and the Falcons scored 38 runs versus
that'll happen.
Colorado.
That'll happen at Air Force. I'm going to say, I wanted to say 12 hits, but that's too many. I'm going to go with, God, it's 9 or 10. I'm going to go Price is Right. I'll go 9 hits.
Yeah. I don't think it went extras because they scored so many runs. It was 38 to like 7.
Yeah.
9 hits in a 9-inning game.
Let's go.
John McBroom.
I'm pumped
Colorado.
right now. Hey, talk about compete, right? Like I'm trying to win and I'm not even competing against any, when we did our sunflower seed eating challenge, I'm trying to win. It's compete.
You're a grinder.
I love it. Hey, we're playing for pride.
B. Cross said the same thing that Dave Roberts said. What's your favorite part of baseball? It's the compete. It's the competition. Yeah. Most RBIs in a game. How many?
College.
This is all college stuff. Happened at FSU. They beat Maryland 26-2 this day.
16
is correct. Do you remember the name of the guy?
No, I guess I'm just being good at life, but no, I don't remember the name of the guy. Buster Posey?
That's unreal. You guessed that right. I thought you knew. Marshall McDougal had 16 ribbies. That's unbelievable. Well done.
I mean,
savant.
Hey, sometimes it's God-given.
Jim LaFontaine, I think it's LaFontaine, had 3 grand slams in one game.
What?
And they say that is the arguably, but has to be maybe the greatest hitting performance ever. March 24, 1976. Check this out. Played for Louisville versus the Western Kentucky. Do you know their mascot, Western Kentucky?
Mud Ducks.
The Hilltoppers.
Yeah, that was my next guess.
He had 3 grand slams and a 2-run homer by the 4th inning. Watch the Ted Williams Art of Hitting video the night before.
Yeah, he did.
And he also had a great mustache.
Honestly, that is so good.
That's all I got, man. That's a little trivia for you and a little Brandon Crawford.
I'm gonna do a little. I'll work on some trivia for you next time we meet, and I'll have a few questions for you. I'm pretty happy. I love it. I'm pretty happy with what just happened right there.
No, that's a scholar salute for you, man. That is completely impressive. And you know what else is impressive? These juggernaut names you keep rolling through the Talkin' Shop podcast. Folks, tell your friends about this podcast, will you? Tell them to listen on the Apple or the Spotify or the Google and watch it on YouTube. I mean, this is masterclass in coaching, and you also get a little peel back of the curtain on some of these major leaguers that your kids love, their favorite players. Like what do they like to eat for breakfast and what kind of music do they listen to? So I'm enjoying it. My uptick in the happiness has been full board, and I'm loving it, man. So attaboy.
I mean, yeah, if it was just me and you, I would have a high level of uptick of happiness. But then you add in some of the great players of the game and great humans in the game, and just shining a spotlight on character and how important it is. And that leads to why it's so important to have high character in youth sports and to put an emphasis on that and trying to win the heart of these kids. That's it. Coaches and players and parents. I love that Brandon talked about, he kept referencing his love for the game. And that's what pushed him. Right. And I can speak to that. Like when he talked about Friday nights, putting in work, like that was my thing, was every Friday night I would take 150 swings. I actually did it 7 days a week, but Friday nights, it was really special because, hey, Chopper, you want to go to the movies? I can't. I got to go work. I'm trying to get drafted, And so it's, where's your passion? What are your desires? And if it's not to be a major leaguer, that's okay. That's great. Be nice, be kind, be loving, have fun. But if you have these goals and these dreams and you have a love for the game, it will drive your decisions. And really that's, if you want to be the next Brandon Crawford, it's within your reach. Put in the work.
Parents, it'll be very noticeable. They will be begging you for that Friday night BP sesh. They'll be begging you to play year-round baseball. And if they are, then it's your job to make sure that they're staying healthy physically and mentally, and continuing to be well-rounded as an athlete.
Do well in school.
Do well in school. Exactly. So you kind of, it is that balancing act. You know, if you've got that stud athlete that lacks the effort or the drive, well then, yeah, let's find a way to inspire them and encourage them and find a way to dangle that carrot that they're trying to reach for. And they're like, okay, I get it. I got to step it up. And then on the other side of it, when you're a Chad Chop who's begging to play 7 nights a week, there's balancing acts there too, right? You want that kid wanting to do that when they're 18 and 19 and 20. So balance.
I should say that was when I was in college. So that was, my
going into
to the point, to your point, like I had that love for the game at a young age, and that was all I ever wanted to do. And so I built that love, and that'll get you through the tough times that this game will inevitably produce. And then once I didn't get drafted as a junior in college, going into my senior year, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do everything in my power. I was at the gym 4 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I was in my backyard because I wasn't taking no for an answer. And that's what it took at that age. When you're young, my goodness, be a good teammate, be a good person, fall in love with the game and fall in love with being a good person.
Awesome. Well, Brandon Crawford, good person. And if you just listen to it on the podcast, go watch it on the YouTube. He's very handsome.
Oh, he's easy on the eyes. Yeah. Brandon Crawford,
wow.
Easy on the eyes. Smells good. Smells like Johnny B hair product. It's true.
Smells so good. I thought Gabe Kapler was my wife's man crush in the game of baseball. Then I thought it was Javier Lopez because in the quotes of Mrs. Ballgame, he's not ugly. Yeah. And now we got B Craw. My goodness. And his nickname was
DJ BC Raw.
Play the music.
Bam, 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 bam. That's it. That's great. Have a great day. Don't forget to, your random act of kindness every day.
Rake.